All of our Louisiana Country Music Live interviews are brought to you by our friends at Explore Louisiana. Lieutenant Governor Nungesser and his team do an amazing job promoting our great state, and we're proud to partner with them to provide more awareness and opportunities for Louisiana country music artists. Tonight, we've got a great guest with us. He came from a well-known country music family, but he's carving out a path and building real momentum in the process. Carving out his own path and building real momentum in the process. Balancing life at LSU with a rising music career and a lot on the horizon in the months ahead. He's quickly becoming one of the young artists people are starting to really pay attention to. Like we said, he'll be at the live at the Texas Club in Baton Rouge this Friday night. We're excited to talk about his journey, his music, and what's next. Let's welcome to the show, Timothy Wayne.
What's happening?
What's up, dude?
What's up, y'all?
Oh, man, I didn't breathe that whole time. I was just running through it.
Hey, that's good breath control. I couldn't have done that.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, dude. Thanks for spending a little time with us tonight. I guess we'll start by saying happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much. I feel old. I didn't want to wake up this morning. I just kind of.
Dude, now it only moves faster. I can tell you that, man. I hate to break the bad news, but it only starts moving faster. Your mom, who we met before you came on, it was her birthday yesterday. You guys share a birthday. So happy birthday to your mom as well. That's a pretty cool thing to share a birthday with a parent.
Absolutely, it is.
So, dude, let's dive in, man. We'll get to the music, but let's get a little bit of background first, man. You got a lot going on, but most importantly, you're a Tiger, man. You're a fellow LSU Tiger. Let's talk about what brought you from Franklin, Tennessee to Baton Rouge.
Man, I had just started doing music, but my only aspiration in life was the United States Marine Corps. So naturally, I applied to a lot of different colleges. I applied to VMI, Annapolis, MTSU, which is right around it's Middle Tennessee State, which they actually have a pretty good
great songwriting program there.
Yeah, absolutely. They actually have a really good ROTC program there as well. Texas A&M, LSU, and I wound up pulling my application from Annapolis and VMI before I heard response back, mainly because I had heard response back from LSU, but I went and toured A&M, and because they're famous for their Corps cadets, and the United States Marine Corps is a heavy entity in the Corps cadets. So I looked at A&M, and I didn't get in because 2022 was when everybody decided that COVID was over and it was time to go back to college and go back to school. So I wound up not getting in there because they had almost 100,000 or over 100,000 applicants, and 90% of them from the state of Texas. It was insane. And then I got this letter back from Louisiana. Now at this time, I was kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna join the Marine Corps. I'm gonna enlist. And I'm happy with that. Well, my mom's like, well, let's just go tour LSU. So I went and toured LSU, and the day I got there, the day I started what I think they call it, not Welcome Week, it's Tiger Trails, I think is what it was called. The day I got there, fell in love with it. I saw people sitting inside the oak trees, reading books, saw the parade ground, saw the Memorial Clock Tower, Death Valley. It was just an incredible sight, and I felt at home. And I got to tour, actually, the dorm facility where I stayed my freshman year. I actually I toured it, not thinking I was going to stay there, and then I wound up staying there. So it was pretty cool, but it just felt like home. I have so much family in Louisiana too, and so many family ties and history here. So it was a no-brainer once I got my letter back, and I felt at home here. So I wound up coming to LSU, and I'm all the better for it.
Yeah, man. Like we said before we came on, like Lane Kiffin says, just different.
Absolutely, just different. It is definitely different.
Sometimes, like if I'm in Nashville, people ask me about Louisiana. I'm like, I don't know how to explain it, man. You just got
different.
You can't really explain it. You just have to go live it for a little while. So tell me about met mom a while ago. Tell me about your upbringing and what type of values were instilled to you from your family that you'll be carrying into the world after college.
Yeah, well, chief among everything was love and hard work. My dad worked on lineman. We talked about this. My dad worked on lineman. My mom worked several jobs on top of raising us kids. So it was there was four of us technically in the house. My older brother Matthew, although he moved out not long after we got there, he moved on to our farm and started working after he graduated high school. And he's 11 years older than I am. And then we have my little brother and little sister, Samuel and Sarah, who are actually freshmen at LSU now, which is pretty cool. But my dad worked as a lineman. My mom worked several jobs while she raised us, and we only really got to see dad on the weekends. Just because he was, I mean, when you're a lineman, you work Mondays through Fridays, you're back for a couple of days, and then you leave again. And if it's storm work, you don't see him for like a month.
Yeah, no doubt.
But we were always excited for that because we knew we were going to get Oreos at the grocery store if you went on storm work. We knew we could get Oreos. But anyways, hard work and love is something that they both taught us to do. Just watching them while we're growing up, and still watching them now. My mom works pretty hard behind the scenes with me, and doing stuff for other people too, and working with foundations and running our own company. And my dad works for the union now, and I get to watch them do all their hard work. So those are two values they've taught us that I hope to bring into life after college.
Yeah, hard work's something that transitions into every area of life. So that's a good value to have, man. I want to focus on you and your journey during this interview. So we'll just get this one out of the way early, man. You have a pretty famous uncle. You want to talk
and
about
aunt.
And aunt. You're right. That's right. A famous uncle and aunt. That's right. You want to share that with our viewers?
Yeah. So my uncle's Tim McGraw, my aunt's Faith Hill. Although today I will say we had a nice TV interview, and Mr. Reggie, if you're watching this, we get there and he goes, "So is your uncle really Tim McGraw, or is he like somebody that just calls you nephew and you call uncle?" And I was like, "No, it's my mom's brother." And he goes, "Tim McGraw is awesome and all, but my favorite part is that he's married to Faith Hill." And I was like, "Go, man!" So we made a video for Aunt Faith and sent it to her today, and it was pretty funny. But it's really cool having them in my corner. Aunt Faith has been an amazing supporter since day one. So is Uncle Tim. He's one of my producers. I certainly wouldn't be doing this without him. He was the first person that introduced me to my voice. I had no inkling I'd always wanted to dive into music. I didn't know how, and I didn't think I could because I grew up watching Uncle Tim and Aunt Faith on stage, and that thought never crossed my mind that I had the ability to do what they did. And he was one of the first people that told me I did have that ability, and that he was going to stand next to me. And he said, "But you've got to go to college and you've got to carve your own path." He goes, "I'll produce you and I'll give you advice, but you got to carve your own path and you have to go to college." So that was the deal. And we've had a blast. We've cut several songs now, and him and Byron Gallimore producing in the studio is awesome.
Well, don't tell him I said this, but I think my biggest crush in high school, out of all the girls that I went to school with and all that, I think my biggest crush in high school was Faith Hill.
Man, I'm telling you.
Oh, dude, I was just like, oh my goodness, she's like the most beautiful lady in the world. There's a couple of years I was just like jamming to her stuff, but both so talented, man, both icons and legends, and what an opportunity for you to have to learn from people like that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an incredible blessing and a privilege.
Yeah. I always joke and say kids are like really hard to impress. Like kids just don't care what you do. So did you know that your uncle was cool growing up, or were you just like, whatever?
He was always the cool uncle. But it didn't hit me until like third or fourth grade, maybe a little bit after that. I noticed that people were listening to my uncle, and then I started noticing more. I'm like, that was my uncle's face on a billboard. Why is it on the side of a building? I'm like, oh, he's playing Nissan Stadium. Cool. It was like a job. It was just a job. Yeah. And it didn't strike me that he was this massive legend until much later, when I started realizing all my friends were listening to him, and I was seeing him on these billboards and stuff. And I was like, oh, well, okay. I guess that makes sense now.
It's not like he's just like a guy that played music. I mean, he's literally like he's one of the legends for sure.
Yeah.
We got Karen popping in the comments. Hey, Karen, she's a regular every Tuesday. Welcome to the show. So, man, I read that you like you said, you wanted to become a Marine after high school, And then I read that, you found a guitar and that kind of changed those plans and all of that. Tell us a little bit about how all that went down.
Since I was about 4 years old, the only aspiration I had in life was the United States Marine Corps. I just wanted to enlist, go infantry. And I wound up, my mom used to do charity for the Tim McGraw Foundation. And through that, I wound up doing shooting competitions. And I met a couple of Navy SEALs, and we joked while we were at this competition. We joked about I won one of them, or almost won one of them. I think I had the first year I did it, I was 13, and I got 92 out of 100 targets. And then the second year I did it, I got an 88 out of 100 targets. And the first year I did it, I was 13. It was the first time ever doing trap shooting. And one of the Navy SEALs like, "You sure you want to waste that talent in the Marine Corps?" And I said, "You mean the men's department?" Or he said, "Sure you want to waste that talent in the Marine Corps? There's still a department of the Navy. You should just join the Navy." And I said, "Well, they're the men's department of the Navy." And he started laughing. He said, "I'm going to tell you something." He goes, "You need to look into MARSOC." So MARSOC at the time had just been reinstated. Well, it had been several years after they had been reinstated, but they were inducted, or they were incepted in created in 1945 during World War II, Guadalcanal, and then they were disbanded for a while and they came back. So I started looking into MARSOC, and then I found what I wanted to do. I wanted to do Special Forces, MARSOC, Special Forces, or Marine Special Operations Command, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a Marine Raider, and then I needed an art credit junior year of high school. I already did photography. I had already done pottery, and I can't draw to save my life. So that left guitar, and I definitely wasn't going to act at the time, or at least do theater. So I was still in that stage. I thought theater kids were weird, so I definitely wasn't going to do theater. I loved going to the theater and watching it, but I still thought theater kids were weird. And my little brother and little sister were both theater, and my cousins were too. So, but anyways, I wound up picking up a guitar, and that was my art credit. And everybody in that class had already been playing before I had gotten there. Like they'd already had like a year or two under their belt. So I practiced for several hours every night after school, and until my fingers actually bled. And then I wound up picking it up pretty fast. And then after that, I started doing karaoke competitions at school, and I turned into one of the weird kids, and I started singing everywhere I went, and playing guitar. And then I started getting one of the songs that I released a couple of years ago or a year ago, "Guy with a Guitar." That I would go to friends' houses, and they're like, "Make sure you bring a guitar," or "I have a guitar here, be prepared to sing and play." And so it always turned into a jam session at some point.
And chicks dig it, man, at the end of the
day. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, what's funny is one of my buddies, who I'm not going to name, but he just got a pretty cool job designing stuff. But he, right before we went to college, he said, "Man, you got to teach me how to play a song on guitar." It's like, "Well, what do you want to know?" He goes, "Something that's going to get a girl's attention." So I taught him how to play Keith Whitley, "Don't Close Your Eyes." And one morning at like 4 a.m. in the morning, I get this text from him, and he goes, "Dude, it worked." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "The Keith Whitley song you taught me, it worked." And I was like, "Okay, cool. You can spare me the details. Good for you, man." And went back to bed. But 4 a.m. in the morning, a text, "Thank you, man. It worked." I was like,
"Hey, man, you did your job. That's right.
Yeah.
You're a good teacher."
Yeah, I guess so.
So did you so you said you wanted to become a Marine since like 4 years old. That's kind of a young age to be thinking about something like that. Is there something that like triggered that, or?
I have an uncle who's a general now in the Marine Corps that I'd always looked up to. His name is Walker Field. I'd always looked up to him. We have a ton of pictures going to Disney trips together when I was a kid. We used to do we did a couple of big family trips, and he was on one of them. And I got really close to him. So because my dad was a lineman, I had a lot of different father figures. So I had my dad as my primary father figure. Him and my mom raised me to be the man I am today. I had my Uncle Tim. I had my older brother, who was kind of a younger figure to look up to, but still gave me advice and stuff. And then I had my Uncle Walker too. I didn't get to see Uncle Walker a lot either, but when I did, I could always ask him for advice or anything else. And I clung to him because of his job. And I wanted to be a Marine, man. And every once in a while, I still wake up and I'm like, "All right, cool, let's go sign up today." And I'm like, nope. I found something else that I really love. And, and I'm like, and God is calling me to do it. So, um, but yeah, I'd always just been interested in it. And then the older I got, it never changed. Nothing swayed me. I was involved or not involved. I was, taken up with law enforcement. I love law enforcement and stuff like that. But man, the Marine Corps was just the only thing that was calling me. It was the only thing. Well, that and mixed martial arts. I wound up doing some mixed martial arts, not competing. Mom and dad wouldn't let me in high school. And then I still do it today. I do Krav Maga every once in a while just because I don't feel like going to a bunch of different dojos or training centers. So, anyways, I just always stayed on that fascination with the Marine Corps. I loved everything they stood for. The uniforms looked great, and the camaraderie was awesome. And we were also raised, some of those values that we have in our family are respect and love for our country too. And I saw that as kind of a way of paying that back. And it wasn't until much later in life that I decided not to. And even still, I am still involved with the Marine Corps today.
That's awesome, man. And you never know where life will lead, man.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like college wasn't maybe in your original plans because you wanted to go to the Marine Corps, and then maybe music wasn't in your original plans at one point.
Yeah.
So how do you approach that, man? As far as like, you never know what God's going to have in store and all of that type of stuff. How do you approach whenever you want something and then you go a different direction?
My favorite phrase and one of my favorite songs is "Roll With It" from Easton Corbin. Now, Easton Corbin's song is more of a love song of let's just go with the flow, but it rings true. That's what's awesome about country music is just one story. Just because it's about a guy and a girl don't mean you can't find another meaning in it, or it has a broader meaning. So just roll with it. You can't. There's no sense in fighting it. Don't fight it. Just go with it. And if it's the path you're meant to be on, you're going to be on that path. I have a lot of friends that they wanted to be space engineers, they wanted to be pilots, or they wanted to be this, wanted to be that, and they wound up being something completely different. But man, I can't believe I couldn't do that. I'm like, dude, but look at what you're doing right now. You're doing so much good right now, and and you love what you do. It's not like you're hating what you do. You love what you do. So why complain? Well, I wanted to do this. I'm like, well, what we want isn't always what we need to do and what we're called to do, And so I would just say roll with it. If it just because it's your plan don't mean it's God's plan. That's our way of thinking, we can have everything planned to a T. Don't mean it's going to happen.
Man, I always say if I had everything that I wish that I prayed for over the years, I'd be in a bind right now.
I would too. I would too. I'd be in debt up to my eyeballs.
Man, look at here on man, I hadn't seen this guy in a while over here. Let me see the comments right here. You think you know this guy, Tyler Item?
Tyler, oh my God.
He says, "Hey
Tyler
guys,
Item, you
I haven't seen
sucker."
Tyler in forever, man. What's up, dude?
Dude, do you know Tyler?
Yeah, I do know Tyler, man.
How do you know Tyler?
Oh man, he's from this area. He's from he grew up in the same area.
I forget that Tyler's from I forget that Tyler is from Baton Rouge. So Tyler is married to one of my cousins.
Okay, yeah.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
That's funny,
He's married
man.
to Amy. So she's not my real blood cousin, but she's a cousin. She's been around me she's been around my mom since before I was born. But they're awesome. I love you, Tyler. I can't see your comments, but love you, buddy. I did my hair just for you today, man. By the way.
Thanks for jumping in, Tyler. We have to catch up before too long, man. So dude, who were some of your musical influences coming up?
Man, all my life, I listened to various different things. Never really got into rap, although everybody laughs at this next sentence. I like Pitbull. I do, but everybody will tell me, hey, he's hip hop, he's pop, he's not rap. To me, he's rap. I love Pitbull. I love his music. I love the collaborations he does. I also like some of Nelly's stuff. And my older brother got me into Project Pat. And but my older brother introduced me to what's now referred to as dad rock. Creed, Well, Leonard Skinner doesn't really fall in there, but Creed, Nickelback, Shinedown, all those bands. That's that's dad rock now. I'm a
Yeah.
massive fan of all those bands. I was listening to Theory of a Dead Man on the way over to my aunt's house where I currently am right now. I was listening to Theory of a Dead Man, uh, Meant to Be. Great song. But I loved all those songs. And my dad is the one that turned me on to old country music. So, of course, I had Uncle Tim songs growing up too. And then dad turned me on to the very first movie I remember watching, or well, not movie, TV show. He introduced me to the John Schneider Dukes of Hazzard TV show.
It's not a
And
bad one to
with
be
that,
introduced to.
I came to learn a song called Just a Good Old Boys, Dukes of Hazzard theme.
Yep.
So when I learned to play guitar much later on in my life, that was one of the very first songs I taught myself how to play guitar, play the guitar for. Love that song. Play it all the time. I play it just about every show now. I might even record that one day. I don't know yet. But as far as influences go, Jerry Reed, my uncle, Waylon Jennings, Keith Whitley, Easton Corbin. I love Joe Nichols too, but also Creed and Nickelback and all of them. I like the guitars and all those songs and the feeling.
That's cool, man. That's not that uncommon though, man. A lot of the country guys I know really love rock and stuff like that. So it's not very, that's
They're
not.
cousins. They're cousins.
They are. It's all right.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I forgot is actually I loved both of their vocals, Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra. Those were also two of my favorites that my grandmother introduced me to riding in her car.
Yeah. Those guys were like way cooler than we'll ever be.
Yeah, 100%. Way cooler. Way cooler.
Carl Boudreaux's in the comments. What's up, Ronnie and Timothy? What's up, Carl?
Hey, Carl.
The drummer. That's a drumming machine right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good dude. I'll see you Sunday, Carl. I hope to see you Sunday at Gumbo Bros. Man, let's see. What was there a time whenever you started playing and you thought, man, maybe I'm decent at this? Was there a moment that you kind of remember just thinking maybe I can do this?
There was one moment where it was Legends Corner. We had a friend of ours playing named Timmy Bumgardner. He had his group up there. They were playing. Timmy plays guitar. And my mom said, I was 17, 18, somewhere around there. And my mom said, hey, let's go down to Broadway. And I despise going down to Broadway. I don't like walking through large crowds. I was like, oh, great. Especially back then. Now I'm more used to it now. But back then, man, I like walking on the street in large crowds, everybody bumping shoulders. And then I was just like, ugh. But we went down there and I walked into Legends and we get in there and Timmy asked me if I want to come up and sing a few songs. So we did 4 songs. One of those songs we wound up doing twice, and that was Looking Back, Texas by Waylon Jennings. I started singing that song, and after I finished, a bunch of people started yelling, encore, encore, do it again, do it again, do it again. And this older guy came up to me and he goes, I want you to do that song again. And when I did, he went over to the bar and he found a lady and they started dancing. And then my mom and dad started dancing and the guests that we brought with us started dancing. And then there was people on the streets that had stopped to record and some people that had poured in. And there were some people on the streets that were two-stepping too. And it was kind of that moment where I was like, man, this is what it's about. It's this feeling right here is what this is about. And I'd already fallen in love with music and thought about doing it, but I didn't have the confidence until right then. And then later on, this is before I recorded Guaranteed. Later on, I'd already had a talk with several family members where they told me, you've got what it takes. You just got to put the effort and the work in for it. And I was like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. But I had to start believing in myself because everybody else believed in me. So there was no point in me not believing in myself. So I just had to start pouring faith into myself and prayed every night and wound up here we are now.
It's funny, man, how often I hear that in these interviews. Actually, like people that say that early on they just really didn't believe in themselves. John Foster a few weeks ago was on here and he talked about even going into Idol that he just had such self-doubt and just didn't have any doubt. But he was like, I just believed in God could do it. So I just followed that. But I was just like, man, that's interesting though, if you really think about it, because like you, just very talented folks, but it's just weird how we doubt ourselves a lot, man. And sometimes other people see it before we do.
Yeah, other people see the diamond in the rough before we can. All we see is a big old lump of coal.
Yeah. Tracy Jewell says, that's my nephew.
Oh, yeah, that's Aunt Tracy.
Yeah, yeah. And then Ashley Martin Daly says, I love Timothy Wayne. So
Aunt Ash.
You got all the family up in here, man. I love it. Little family.
That is the start. The mom off camera over here goes, that's the start crew. So that's obviously mom's sister is Aunt Tracy. And then Ashley is one of mom's best friends from back in her hometown, Start.
Man, I can tell you this. This is like, I don't know, we've done this like 40 something weeks in a row since we started this podcast. But there's been 3 or 4 artists. I think Steven being one of them, James Dupre down in Lafayette.
Yeah.
There's been 3 or 4 that said that they went to Start Louisiana or wherever the old swamp stock thing was.
Yep.
They both said that was the moment that they wanted to become country artists and stuff like that. So that's funny.
Swamp stock stopped happening before I was born. So I never got to experience it, but yeah, I'm making Steven feel real old right now because Steven's probably going to watch this and he's going to go, God, dog.
I was doing the math in my head. I was like, man, how old is Steven?
I'm 23, so it stopped in it stopped in 2001. I think was the last one they did. 2001, I think is when the last one they did. It's 2 years before I was born, and 2, 3, maybe 4 years before I was born. And I never got to experience it, but I have a bunch of shirts and jackets from back then that they used to do.
Hey,
I've got a massive swamp stock. It's like there's like a quadruple XL swamp stock shirt somewhere in our attic, in mint condition, and it's just sitting there. I found it one day in a box, and it's pretty cool.
That's funny, man. Bunch of old swamp stock merch. So, man, do you remember the first time that you played a real show that wasn't in front of like family members, and not just karaoke, but the first time you played a show and not just in front of your family?
Yeah, the first like real show that I played was kind of trial by fire. So I had done some open mic nights at Fox and Lock. I had gotten up with my acoustic guitar and done some stuff at various places. I did one for my dad for the IBEW. But to be honest with you, the first time I really got up on stage and did a bit and did like a show that was hey, this is not Timothy Wayne getting up with somebody. This is a Timothy Wayne show, was in Philadelphia in front of like 40,000 people.
Wow.
For the standing room only tour. So I had already done some solo acoustic shows, but those were for like families and friends. And I had done some open mic night stuff. So Mark Colley, who's a good buddy of mine, he had gotten me up to do some stuff with him, and I like Christmas parties and stuff like that. But I hadn't gotten a band, and I didn't have a band that I was just partying, going off with. I was trying to build one up at that point and just doing what I could. And but I had built one for that, and then we wound up getting invited for the standing room only tour. And I was the first of 3. So my very, very first real show that I had was Philadelphia in front of 40,000 people. That was the very first. My mom was nervous about it. That's one thing I will brag about myself on, or tout about myself, I guess. I don't really get nervous all that often. Usually not at all. Every once in a while I will. That was one of those points I wasn't really that nervous. I just kind of, we prayed right before the show. Me and my band pray just about before just about every time we go on stage. And my uncle slapped me on the back and said, "Don't worry, you've got this." And my mom said, "Oh my God, I'm so worried about it. I don't know if he's ready for this yet." We went up there, and if I do say so myself, we freaking killed it. And we had such a fun time, and I loved being up there. And everybody keeps asking this question: well, do you get stage fright when you're up there because there's so many people? I'm going to tell the fans a secret. look into my eyes. We can only see like 6 feet off of the stage because there's so many footlights and so many bright white lights in your face. You can see like a few hundred people down on the floor, and then some people up in the thing, unless you like shield your eyes from the light. Other than that, you can't really see a whole ton of people. I was like, you could get stage fright from that, I guess. It's like, but to be honest with you, it's not like you're staring 40,000 people into their eye sockets. It's more like you're looking at a few hundred people on the floor right there, which is where it gets really intimate and really cool too. But that was our first show. That was like our first really big show. And then in between that and our other shows, I did a ton of fairs and festivals. I did Summerfest in Milwaukee, and I did Calgary Stampede, which was so much fun. I did CMA Fest. That was my first year doing CMA Fest too, which was so much fun. Man, I just had a blast doing all that. But the best part about coming off of that show was I got down off a stage, and my band said I did good. My mom said I did good. And my uncle probably kill me for saying this, but I get off a stage and he goes, "That's how you can do it. That's how you can do it right there." And he had tears coming out of his eyes, and I had tears coming out of my eyes. And it was a really cool moment. And, it was a really, really cool moment that I will cherish forever. It was an awesome moment. And then of course I've known my uncle's band for so long. They've all watched me grow up. I went from that little kid that was running around stealing their keys and guitar picks to the adult that's still running around stealing their guitar picks because I lose mine all the time. I got off stage and they were all like, "That was awesome, man. You did so good." And then we went on to do a bunch more shows after that. And I've been doing it for almost 4 years now. So I just loved every minute of it.
Dude, that's awesome, man. No pressure. Just go on and get the guitar. And
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Like, I wasn't worried about it and I wasn't nervous, but like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, man, there's 40,000 people out there. Like, this is going to be fun. But whoever's idea this was an idiot. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm the one that said yes to this.
You're like, somebody must be drinking because everybody.
Yeah, I'm like, somebody was not in the right mind when we did this. But
they start drinking on the bus earlier because I don't know if they realize they're about to send me out with a guitar.
Yeah, I'm like, man, something must be in the air right now.
That's hilarious, man. I'm trying to keep up with some. I see Susan Wade Smith says, "Love you, Timothy."
Oh, Memo. That's my Memo.
Okay. Henry Angel says,
"Yeah, Henry." Yep, that's one of my older brother's best friends. That was kind of like a brother to me growing up.
Okay. And then Amanda says, "Timothy, love your music. Originally from Calhoun, now living in Massachusetts. Wishing you the best of luck. Love seeing these Louisiana boys making it big, and I miss Swamp Stock." So somebody from Massachusetts for you there. That's right. Yeah. That's right. So man, let's jump into songwriting, man. When did you start writing songs?
Man, so not long after I started playing guitar and started doing open mic nights, and a lot of it was karaoke too. I'd jump up and do a lot of karaoke and just break out the guitar. A friend of mine who's also been a great mentor, Mark Colley, reached out, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna come over and stay for a couple of days. I want to write a song, so get your guitar ready and give me all these ideas. Like, write down some ideas that you might have." And he gave me a lot of my first tips on songwriting. Always come with an idea or a melody or lyrics. Come with one of those 3 things. Always bring something to the table when you walk in. Don't be one of those guys that walks in and goes, "All right, what we doing today?"
What we doing?
Yeah, just be one of those guys that, always comes to something with a table, which is awesome. And we wrote a song called All Night Long. Somebody asked me about this the other day, and I felt so bad. I can tell you all the lyrics to it, but I couldn't remember what we named it. And I can remember how to play it too, but I couldn't remember what we named it. And then somebody asked me about it in another interview a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "Why did you ask me that?" I can't remember.
That's how it always works.
And I was like, "I tell you lyrics though." But that was my very first song. And then Stephen Paul. So Mark Colley was the first person to ever give me a write, and was the first person to ever write with me and tell me that I could write, because I didn't think I was going to be a songwriter either. He was the first person to tell me that I ever had what it took to be a songwriter. And then Stephen Paul was the second person I ever wrote with.
Wow.
Me and him wrote a song with Jared Hartness called
So you're doing it to yourself now? I didn't even ask.
Yep, I'm doing it to myself now. Hang on. I do remember this though. I think it's called it'll come to me in a few minutes. You'll say something that'll
I
come to
didn't
me.
even put you in this corner.
Yeah, I put myself in this corner. But me and him wrote my second song together, and then I've had a couple more writes with him after that. And now since then, I've written with Bryce Long, who's putting music out again now, and Marv Green. I wrote with Brett James. We're working on a song right now. I'll tell you about a little project I'm working on called Jacked Up Truck. That's a song I wrote with him and Ben Hayslip.
Yeah.
And it's an awesome song, but that was the first and only song I got to write with Brett James. We were working on getting another date, and then he sadly passed away. But it's turning out to be a heck of a song, so I hope I make him proud, and I hope I do the song good. And and Ben Hayslip's also in there, and then the Warren Brothers too, who have been mentors to me. It's just I've gotten to write with a lot of cool people around town.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Obviously writing with guys like that as a young writer, whenever when you go to, I remember writing coming up. I just write everything by myself whenever I first started writing, because when I went to Nashville, they were like, "Well, who'd you write these songs with?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Because I was like, I don't have any buddies that write songs, and
Yep.
I didn't even really know the co-writing thing. But it's a different thing. But so having some guys like that with all that experience in the room is great. But was there pressure that came with it?
Absolutely. I made sure that just about every write I went to, I had something to bring to the table. Now there was one summer where I did pretty much back to back to back to back to back writings, and I used every single idea that I could come up with and that I had from experiences, and we wrote just about all of them. I wrote on just about all of them, and then some of them I shelved for for ideas for later. But after that, I kind of noticed I had a knack for melodies. So I wound up kind of honing in my melody skills, and I'm okay with lyrics. But my somebody asked me not too long ago, "What's your superpower in the writing room?" And I
Yeah,
always say melodies. Most of the songs that I've written to this day are usually somebody bring an idea and some lyrics, and I'll put melodies over it. I've actually had some friends of mine send me songs with just lyrics and be like, "Hey, this is kind of what we want the feel to be to it," and I'll put a melody over the top of it. And so I'm really good with melodies, which is a humble brag.
yeah.
But that was where I found my superpower to be. It wasn't in lyrics and it wasn't in ideas; it was in melodies.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got, very few people are just knock them all out of the park. A lot of people don't realize that when you write a song, there's different parts to it. I mean, you're not
Hmm.
just writing a song. I mean, I think the people that aren't in the business don't realize that. But I mean, you got your hook guys and you got all that. There's a lot of different parts to it, man. And very, very few people are good at all of it.
Yep. You can't
That's
just
your
sing
Alan
whatever.
Jacksons and stuff. Very few of
Yeah.
those running around.
Yeah, you can't just sing. You can't just write down on a page whatever pops into your mind, because then that turns into a dissertation. Um, you need everything to flow together, but you can't just take that dissertation and turn it into small rhymes, because then you have a verse 1 and a verse 2 that don't make any sense because they don't belong with each other. And
Mhm.
then you have a bridge that's jumbled up, and there's a lot of work that goes into it and a lot of thought process, and the creativeness of some of these guys is just insane.
Oh, and to see a great song come together is just a beautiful thing, man. Like your uncle cut, Tim Nichols was one of the
Live,
writers on it, Live Like You're Dying.
yeah,
And it's just like, wow. Like when a song like that comes together, it's just like, what magic, man.
yeah.
Unbelievable. So you've, I think I've got this right, man, but I know you've released several songs over the past couple years. But if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw or read that your first studio session ever happens to be your single that you just released, right?
Yeah. So I try to make a long story short. I was graduating from high school. I had a truck. I had everything I needed. My uncle was having an issue finding something to get me. So he called my mom behind my back and asked what I would want. She goes, "Well, I don't know." And he goes, "Well, uh, I have an idea." So me and Uncle Tim would send songs back and forth all the time. He sent me "I Called Mama" before he released it, "Humble and Kind." We got to hear all those, and we used to try to stump each other with old artists. We still do that every now and then. And he sent me this song one day. I just gotten back from LSU, from touring, and he sent me this song called "Guarantee Ya." And he says, "What do you think about this song?" Which wasn't uncommon. I didn't think anything of it. I said, man, that's a hit. You need to record it. That's awesome. Like, you need to record it. He goes, oh, okay. He goes, you're learning to play guitar, so why don't you go ahead and teach yourself how to play it, learn lyrics, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. Well, a few days later, I get this text, and it's just a pin drop. And he says, I'm in the middle of a gym session, and he texts me, and he says, hey, 8:30 p.m. sharp, be at this location. So I get there. It's dark, stormy. There's a barn with one single light over the door. I text him, you got 30 seconds or I'm leaving because I ain't getting shot tonight. And I'm so close to high school graduation, I'm not getting shot tonight. And he comes out of the door. We go in there. I see all the musicians say hi. I see Byron, and then he walks me over to the stand, the microphone stand, shoves me in front of it, puts headphones over, lifts it up, says, "There's your lyric sheet for the song. Hope you know it. Here's how you control your volume. Sing." And I was like, "What?" And as soon as he said sing, he dropped the headphone, hit me in the side of the face, and then the headphone hit me in the side of the face. I looked at the lyric sheet, and then I heard the first guitar. And I was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" And right after that, so he was actually recording his standing room only stuff, or some of his standing room only stuff, and that was my graduation gift. I thought I was just going to go watch him record and everything else, and I wound up getting to record myself. So that was 18-year-old Timothy on that guarantee recording. That is me at 18 years old, the very first recording session I ever did. I didn't go back and re-record it for 23-year-old me. I still had the mastered recording, so I put that one out. So that is the very first song I ever recorded.
Wow, dude. So you just weren't prepared to even know.
Trial by fire. Like I said, I guess I do the most thriving trial by fire because it's what everybody keeps putting me in. So
I was about to say, dude, you've been in a couple of no pressure moments. That's pretty funny, man. So wait, so he was where was this place? It's like
an undisclosed location. It wasn't
really in the middle of the field, was it?
It was. Oh no, it wasn't in the middle of a field. It was in the middle of the woods at night. I love the guy that owns it. I won't name any names because I'm not sure if he wants everybody to.
Yeah. You don't have to say.
But the guy that owns it, and awesome guy, one heck of a drummer. He's got all these cars and stuff around his house that lead up to the barn, the driveway that leads up to the barn where this thing is at, where the recording studio is at. There's all these cars and oil drums and stuff like that that go all the way up to it. And so I'm driving back here, and I'm like, I'm getting shot, and I'm getting shoved in one of the trunks of these old cars, and I'm just, nobody's ever gonna find my body. And it was pretty funny.
You're like, man, Uncle Tim got hacked, and now I'm about to get murdered.
I'm like, yeah, Uncle Tim got hacked. I'm being lured here. I'm about to die.
Some dude from the internet is drawing me out to Buffalo Bill or whatever.
Oh golly, yeah.
That's funny, dude. So man, I've been listening to your songs all this week and really enjoy them. And how many of those, if any, were your writes? Have you recorded some of yours yet?
So I got to think here for a minute. That'd Be You, to my knowledge, is the only one that we've put out that I wrote on. That was me, Mark Colley, and Jamie Moore. We wrote that song. I had just met my girlfriend in college. We had been dating for a little bit, and I had this idea pop into my head. So I sent it to Mark Colley, and he said, me and Jamie Moore have been wanting to write with you, so let's get together. So I got together with them, and we wrote That'd Be You. And it was my melody and a lot of Mark's lyrics and a lot of Jamie's ideas and lyrics. But it was one of those special songs that it took 3 days to write because we all kept having Mark had to go do some stuff for a project he was working on. So we wound up splitting it up in 3 days. And, but it wound up it is one of my favorite songs, and it's got such a good story to it. And, I know a lot of my friends really like it. So I'm so proud of that song, and I love it.
Dude, I'm not just saying this. I promise lightning could strike me. I'm not just saying this because you're here, but I was listening to it earlier today, and I had the thought of what a great melody that was on that song.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, it really is so that vouches for what you were saying earlier. I can vouch for you now.
Oh, thank
you. Man, so the songs that I was listening to, you really lean into being proud of that country lifestyle. How do you think the songs that you've released so far like align with who you are as a person?
I try to record songs that tell my story or can tell somebody else's. My job is a storyteller. Now, I always tell people that, like, you don't have to tell your own story. If you're writing a song, it's probably best that you tell your own story. But if you're recording something else, it's good to tell your story or somebody else's story. So a lot of these songs I've resonated with, like for instance, God Made a Country Boy. Everything in that song is something that I have done or I have seen
Yeah.
or been, I guess, been a part of in some way. And listening to it, I don't know if y'all get this, but like, when you really listen to a song that resonates with you, you get chills all over you. Like a
Mhm.
song that you just really love. First time I heard that song, I got chills. And I didn't have another song until a little bit later that really hit me the same way. And so I recorded that one, and that was my debut song. Warren Brothers and Lance Miller wrote on that one, and it's still one of my favorites. But I hope, I can't speak for everybody, but I hope all these songs that I put out that speak on the country lifestyle are accurate for all of them. But we were raised in hard work and family values and helping somebody, helping your neighbor, and that's what all these songs kind of talk about. Now I do have some more fun songs that haven't put out yet that I hope everybody likes too. They're just more fun country songs. Talk about stuff that we do uh, out in the country, and Jacked Up Truck is one of those songs. So I hope everybody likes that one when we put it out. But yeah, I hope it does resonate with everybody. But I think they have. I think they've done pretty good at illustrating the country lifestyle for the most part.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I really dig. I mean, I didn't find one that I didn't like. Digging through your stuff, I really enjoyed all of them. Do you have a favorite so far?
Man, that I've recorded.
Yeah, that you've recorded, that you've put out.
Uh,
It's a tough question.
it is a tough question. I don't know if I really have a favorite, to be honest with you. I love all of them. I think I wouldn't say my favorite, but probably one that I am most impressed by and one that I absolutely adore is Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys. That is the very first song I ever learned to play on guitar. Very first song I ever taught myself on guitar in that little guitar class. And
That's a killer version too. Yeah.
that we did that recording, I think is from I know it's from the Standing Room Only tour, and I think it's from the show we did in Arizona. Um, Can't remember, but that's a live recording. We didn't go in there and do like a whole another vocal thing in the studio. That was in the microphone at a stadium. And that one did really good, and I thought I did pretty good on it. Not as good as Waylon and Willie did, mind you, but I thought I did pretty all right on that. It's one of my favorite songs. So
Yeah.
I'd say I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that's a killer version of that song, man. Susan says Pawpaw would be so proud. Sorry, I can't keep
Oh,
up with all the comments, but I'm trying to. But I knew you would want to hear that one for sure.
yeah.
That's awesome, man. So you've had some really cool moments along the way. The Field of Dreams things was really cool. But do you have any moments along the way that made you stop and just be like, kind of in the moment, and just be like, man, this is pretty cool?
Yeah, I've had more than a few of those. Probably the one that hit pretty close. I got to do the iHeart Music Radio Festival, or well, yeah, iHeart Music Festival, and my uncle brought me on stage for that, and I got to do Parker McCollum's part of Paper Umbrellas, which is a song I love that song.
It's a great one.
He actually sent that to me after he recorded it, and I texted him back and I said, "Man," I was like, "This couldn't have been pitched to me. I love this song," and it was really funny. Anyways, I got to do that song, but it was the first time ever really sharing the stage. We always share the stage when I do shows on his tours or I do another show with him, but that was the first time that we had sang. No, it wasn't. That was the second time we had sang together. That was the first time it had hit me. it was the second time that we had did paper umbrellas. It was the first time was at Field of Dreams, which was awesome, but I was kind of taken in by the Field of Dreams thing. But in Vegas, it really hit me right there that I on stage, I was looking at all these people, and I'm looking at iHeart Festival, and Mariah Carey was there that night, and Mariah Carey was there that night, and John Fogerty Band, and all these legends were there. My uncle was there. My uncle felt not only proud but impressed enough to bring me on stage with him. So that meant a mass on live television, which meant a massive thing. That was the first time I ever sang on live television, too, by the way.
Wow.
So,
One, yeah.
trial by fire again.
You
But
thought 40,000 eyeballs was a lot. Now you're on live TV.
yeah, exactly.
Couple million,
But
yeah.
I had a blast doing that, and it was kind of on stage. We hugged on stage and walked back up the ramp, and I came off stage and I turned back around and I looked out towards the crowd, and I was just so dumb. I was like, man, this is what I get to do for work, and I get to work with these amazing people, and I get to tell all these amazing stories. And it just kind of hit me right there, and I just kind of stood there for a minute, and then the stage crew rushed me off stage because they had to switch everything around, and I was in the way. But I had an amazing time there, and that was kind of one of those moments.
Wow, man. So do those huge shows like that, does that give you more of like confidence, like, man, I could do this? Or maybe the answer is both, but does it give you that confidence, or is it more of like a reminder, like, man, this is the bar, like,
Yeah.
at this level?
It's both. It gives me confidence that I can get to that bar, but it also shows you how high that bar is. I mean, this isn't all the bars here, and some days, and the bars here the other days, and the bars way up here. That bar is constantly set every day by new people, and my uncle set it for a long time. So did George Jones and George Strait, and now Ella Langley and Riley Green and Morgan Wallen. They're all setting different kinds of bars, and it's cool to look at all these shows and see just how much work I have ahead of me to get anywhere close to that level.
Yeah, yeah. And those shows, man, I mean, they're productions, I mean, it's like those shows at that level, it's the real deal, man.
Absolutely.
Well, man, how has the balance of building a music career while trying to be a college student been?
Sucks. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually been really fun. The only tedious parts are like when we haven't done any this semester, but last semester I did a lot of shows, and a couple of those shows I flew in on a plane. Like I'd have to drive to New Orleans to get on Southwest flight, then fly to one of those shows, and then I'm flying back the same night or the next night because I have class, and the fatigue is real. And so it gets really difficult because I have to be back to being in class in person. And but it's been really fun, and it's been a learning curve, and I like challenging stuff. So for the most part, so it's been really fun in that aspect. It's been kind of tedious, but and it's been hard. It's not been as hard as you would expect, only because I have a really good team. I have a good publicist behind me. My mom manages everything. Behind the scenes, she gets me all these opportunities. I have a good booking agency. My girlfriend supports me. My fraternity supports me. My best friends support me. Their families support me. And it's just been a really cool thing. And, any day that I feel down in the dumps, or I can't do it anymore, or like I can't do this, like balancing the two, I can always call somebody and have them, be like, oh, you can do it. You got this. And it's been a really cool experience that I wouldn't change for the world.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. When I was there, you're telling professors like, "Hey, man, I was at a show last night. I'm really tired." I'm having to explain like I was at Fred's too late last night. So it's much different here between our college career.
Usually I tell them beforehand, and I told one teacher sophomore, junior year, I said, look, here's the deal. My name's Timothy Wayne. I'm a country music singer. I've got this really big opportunity that I can't pass up. I know that this is not a PS22 excuse for missing class, but I would really, really appreciate an excused class. And they said, is your music good? So I don't know if I can answer that. I think it's good, but I don't know. And they're like, well, I'll go to your show and I'll listen to it. And if I like your music, I'll give you an excused absence. I was like, okay, cool. And then I went to the show and came back and I opened up my grade book on my laptop. First thing I did when I got back, open up my grade book and I had an excused absence. I was like, yes, I like the music.
That's cool, man. That's awesome, dude. Um, what do you think? I won't keep you too much longer, man.
No,
What
yeah,
do you
you got
think these last 4 years at LSU, just college life, has done for you that you may have missed out on if you just went straight into a music career instead of college?
It's got me a lot of friends. I would have missed out a lot of opportunities. I mean, if I hadn't have come to LSU, I wouldn't have met my girlfriend. She's awesome. We've been dating since freshman year. I met her in a stairwell playing guitar in my dorm. We lived in a co-ed dorm. She was on the floor above me, and I used to go sit in the stairwell and play guitar. And she happened to be walking up it one day, and we've been together for just about it'll be 4 years in October. So we just had our 3-year dating anniversary. Um, I wouldn't have met her if I didn't come to LSU. I wouldn't have met my buddies Joe and Brady and Cody Riggs, and I wouldn't have met my fraternity. And I've got my buddy Chris Green in St. Francisville, and uh, Bubba Henry and David St. Romain too. I know you mentioned him earlier. I've written a song with David and Bubba Henry, and I don't know. Do you know Bubba Henry?
I don't know if I know Bubba. Me and David
Okay.
go back 20 years, but
Yeah,
I
him
may
and David
Bubba,
know
I'm
each other,
sure.
so that's why I was asking.
I probably do. There's Bubba
Probably
right there.
is that Bubba Henry?
Bubba Henry. He says, "Good job, bro."
Thank you, buddy, or thank you, Bubba.
Probably do, man. Probably do.
But we I wrote a song with those two, but I wouldn't have met any of these guys had I not been here, and I wouldn't have met Billy Nungesser, and I wouldn't have done the Rose Parade. I wouldn't have recorded a Louisiana Saturday Night. I wouldn't have played the Texas Club probably, or at least I wouldn't have been working on my third time doing the Texas Club. Um, there's just so many things that I wouldn't have been able to do and wouldn't be able to say, hey, I've been there and I have conquered that and I've done that and I want to do it again. And that's I 100% love everything that I've done since then or
Well,
since being here.
I feel like Lieutenant Governor would get on to me if I didn't ask this question. So I'll throw this in. But since
Yeah.
you're originally from Franklin, Tennessee, you've moved to Louisiana, you've been to college here, you've got a lot of family here. What does Louisiana mean to you now?
Man, Louisiana has always meant, and I told Billy actually asked me this one time. It's always been kind of like a second home. We spent a lot of time here. My memo, who's been in the comments, she still lives in Monroe. We've got Tyler and Amy are in Monroe. Amy's parents, Stephen and Pam, are in Monroe. Huh? Well, West Monroe. Sorry, I'm being auto-corrected over here. Or I guess not auto-corrected, mama corrected over here. Anyways, in West Monroe, and we spent so many summers here, and some of my first farm jobs that I had were on my Uncle David's farm doing irrigation with him, and they taught me how to drive a tractor, and I got to learn how to work a combine, and I got to spend a lot of time with my Uncle David and his sons, and my Aunt Tammy and Aunt Ash was there too. Aunt Ash lives in Start, Louisiana, and I've got so much family there and so many experiences. So I think it's become even more of a home, and it means, or it's become even more of a home now than it was then. And it holds a special place.
Yeah, I saw something recently, a video with you out on it looked like maybe an agricultural video, and I was not gonna lie, man, I was a little jealous.
Farm.
Yeah, I was a little jealous, man. I was like, dang, dude, that looks pretty cool, man.
I did that. So little unknown fact, I actually am an intern right now with LSU. With their digital team. So I go out and do these. We're doing a thing right now. We're working on going to a farm and talking about farming. But that was a crawfish research center for LSU.
Yeah.
All the way out past, or no, I think it was just a little bit before Lake Charles. It was good. It was a good bit of ways. It was a long drive. But we had so much fun out there, and I tried to drive that boat. Didn't work out. I tell you right now that if the Marine Corps and music don't work out, I do not have a future career as a crawfisher or a crawfish farmer because I can't drive that boat to save my life. It's not happening. Freddy Krueger could be chasing after me, and I would not be able to drive that boat the way I should be able to drive it.
Oh man, are you eating crawfish though? That's the important.
Oh, absolutely. I just had crawfish over Easter. I went down to my
Oh, you said that
girlfriend's.
earlier. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to my girlfriend's house for Easter for her family. We wound up doing an Easter egg hunt with her grandfather, but her across the street neighbors they did 3 separate boils on Saturday. So on Saturday we went over to their house. We ate crawfish, and they also had hamburgers and chicken too. We basically just sat around and ate all day.
That's what you're supposed to do, man.
Uh-huh.
Are there any things that are there any foods or cultural things that you maybe didn't know about or you didn't know as much about before these last 4 years?
I didn't know that gumbo could be made without shrimp.
That's,
I did not know that there was like I think there's a chicken gumbo, a seafood gumbo, and then there's like 40 other gumbos.
sausage
I
in that
thought a
dude.
gumbo is really just a stew, but I always thought it was basically shrimp soup before I came here. Then once you get in South Louisiana, I mean, you get to a menu and they have their own separate gumbo menu. It's like we have a roast beef gumbo, we have a chicken gumbo, we have a popsicle gumbo. Not really, but and that was one of the cultural foods that I was kind of like, all right, well, this is cool. I did not know this, so it was pretty cool.
That's funny, man. So you couple more questions, man. I guess let's go ahead and dive into the big show at the Texas Club this weekend, man. And by the way, I got to give a shout out to our partners, Written on the River. They sent me this really cool tumbler today. I don't know if you can see that, Louisiana Country Music. It's got all the names of Louisiana towns on there. So
that's pretty cool. Is Start on there?
The Start is on there, dude. Look.
Come on, why is it at the bottom, y'all?
Look at there. I've got Vidalia. Let's see. I found Vidalia earlier too on there. Got my town on there. Yeah.
Where's Ravel at?
Ravel. Let me see. Oh man, it's on here because I saw it earlier. We'll have to get you one, man. I checked the mail today and I was like, what is this? And had a little, but it's Written on the River over in Lafayette. Sweet people. Awesome. And so I got to give them a shout out real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, let's dive in real quick before we get you out of here.
Yeah.
What can fans expect whenever they come out to the show this weekend?
Well, we always try to deliver a high energy, high octane show. We've got a lot of originals in there, some songs that haven't been released, and we got a lot of covers for people to sing along to. Like I said earlier, I'm a massive and a special guest. We also have Cody Lee is going to be with us, one of my good buddies, Cody Lee, who I met at the Field of Dreams. He's going to be joining us. He's going to be kicking the whole thing off. And he's going to be, people should get there early to come and see him because he's going to be putting on a heck of a show. And then I'll go on, and then we have a special guest with us that I can't speak too much on other than most people probably know him. He's been a massive mentor to me my entire life. So, but it's going to be high octane, high energy. We're going to have a lot of covers for people to sing to. We're going to have songs that people know, people don't know. And I just want them all to come out and have a good time, irregardless if they know the songs or not.
That's right, man. That's right. So before we get out, man, is there what is something that you want people to know about Timothy Wayne, the human, when they come out to your shows and they follow your career?
Well, I try. That's one thing that I always try to tell people or try to make known is I try really hard. I want to make sure I'm one of those guys, almost like a toxic people pleaser. I want to try to make everybody happy at the same time, but that's pretty much impossible. But I always tell people I try, and I'm human like everybody. I'm going to stumble and fall and scrape my knee a couple of times, but I'm going to get right back up and hope everybody loves the music and just come on with it.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Well, so you're gonna be graduating here soon, man, and it sounds like you're gonna be busy. What's ahead for you, man? What you got on the agenda coming up after graduation?
I graduate the 16th. I'm doing a week-long just trip where no distractions, no cell phones or anything. And then I kick it off May 30th. I've got a show, and then starting very early June, I kick off going to other places. And then from June to like almost February, I'm playing shows. So just touring and playing music and living life.
Tearing it up, man. Well, I'm a big fan, dude, and I'm pulling for you. And even if you're running around the country and you're not in Louisiana at the time, Louisiana Country Music is always here to support you. And we love that you chose LSU, and we love that you're a Tiger. And once you're a Tiger for life. So we're always going to support you.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank y'all for having me on. I've really enjoyed this. This has been awesome. Hope to do it again.
We will. We'll certainly do it again, man. And where can people find you on your socials and all that?
I'm Timothy Wayne, just on everything. I have a blue check mark on everything, I think, except for TikTok. I don't have a blue check mark on TikTok, but I've got 20-something thousand followers on there. So Timothy Wayne on TikTok, and then Timothy Wayne on Instagram and Facebook and X. I'm on all the social media platforms that you can think of. You can scroll to your heart's content, I guess I should say. But you can find me anywhere there. As far as my music goes, I'm on just about every platform. iHeart radio app. I'm on the Pandora. Every streaming platform that you can think of.
Well, awesome, man. I appreciate you. And look, big thank you to all the comments every year. You have to go back and look through the comments. I couldn't get to all of them because they were coming through while you were talking. I didn't want to do all that, but a lot of great comments in there. Thank you guys for tuning in and commenting. This is our interviews are very informal, but I think that it's fun whenever the comments are coming in like that. And it's just a lot of fun to have family members participating, see your grandmother come in and all that. That's really cool, man. I love it. So
I wanted to bring one thing up because
I
finally figured out how to do the stuff here. Oh my gosh, my girlfriend's on here, Katie. She brought up the stuffed artichoke that we ate during Easter, but also written on the river. Okay, rushing to find room for Ravel, so it's not on there.
I think Ravel's on there. Let me see.
That's what I just read. Come on, man.
Let's see.
Oh, y'all are coming to the Texas Club, written on the river. Awesome. Can't wait to see y'all there. That'd be awesome.
They're sweet people, man. They are sweet people.
And maybe then don't put me on the spot. Written on the river. Don't put me on the spot. That's awesome.
I thought I saw it. I was wrong. I don't see Ravel.
That'd be all right. We'll put them on there.
now Ravel will be on the next one.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Ronnie, for having me on. And y'all run a pretty tight ship. And I'm not sure she wants me saying her name, the girl working behind the scenes, but thank you too. She's been doing a great job. Can we say her name?
Marissa, that's right.
Marissa.
Yeah.
Marissa's back here making sure that everything runs smoothly. So thank you very much, Marissa, for working with us, and thanks for having me on, man. It's been a real pleasure.
I may see you this weekend. So
absolutely. Come on.
All right, brother. Well, we appreciate you, man, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, man.
Okay. Thank you. All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Man, that was great. Great young man. I just love so much seeing the family in the comments and just seeing the joy that it was bringing to the family members. And I could see why you guys are so proud of Timothy. Great young dude, and just grateful to have him on the show tonight. Looking forward to hearing new music and seeing some shows. And you guys make sure to go out to the Texas Club this weekend and check him out. If you guys enjoy the show, make sure to tune in every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. We've always got awesome guests. Make sure to follow, like, share, comment, do all the things to help us show the world what Louisiana country music is about. God bless all of our Louisiana folks out there. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you next Tuesday night right here on Louisiana Country Music Live.